Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. And before we get started with today's video, remember to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. Today's video is going to be my 2024 reading stats. I have some charts and graphs to share with you guys, and let's just dive right in. First, I want to say I read 105 books in 2024, and that was nowhere near my goal, but I am still glad I read that many, and I read a lot of good books, and I'm going to go through and show you the stats I have. First, let's talk about genres. As you can see, I read the majority romance by far. 79.2% of my reads were romance in 2024, and I am a romance reader. In 2025, I want to make this a little less romance heavy and still romance, but some other genres. But we are not here to talk about the future. We are here to talk about the past. And the next highest genre was other, which includes general fiction, sci-fi, classics, that kind of stuff. And that is 6.6%. The next highest was horror with 5.7%. And horror is my second favorite genre, so next year you'll see that slice get bigger. Mystery thriller, 4.7%, and fantasy was only 3.8%. I really slacked off on fantasy. I kind of fell a bit out of love with it in 2024. I'm hoping to get back into it in the new year, or this year. I'm filming this in 2025, but last year really was not the year for fantasy for me. Next, we'll move on to age rating. Most of the books I read were adult with 87.6%. And I'm just finding that I definitely prefer adult books now, the older I'm getting. But I still do enjoy middle grade and YA sometimes. I read 7.6% YA and 4.8% middle grade. My star ratings. I had a very good year for the quality of the books I was reading. As you can see, 5 stars is like through the roof, and everything else pales in comparison to how many 5 stars I had. And that is amazing. And I'm very happy with the number of 5 stars, 4.5, 4 stars. And hopefully I continue to read books I love. And that is a star rating. Format. I am a physical book girly, but in the later part of this year, or like last year, I was really getting into ebooks. I still much prefer physical, but I have so many ebooks I got for free on like Stuff Your Kindle days and stuff. So I want to make my way through that. And for Christmas, I actually got a Kindle and I've been loving it. So I read 78.1% physical books and 21.9% ebooks, and I'm very happy with that ratio. On to the months I read the books in. As you can see, November was my best reading month, and June and December were, I don't want to say my worst reading months, but I read the least amount of books in those months. And I read pretty similar amounts of books every month of the year. I feel like my average is probably around like 9-10 books a month. And I'm happy with that. I'd like to read a little more, but I'm happy with that number. Now on to some extra romance stats. This year I kept track of a few extra things in the romance department, and we are just going to go over them. As you can see, we have a spicy scale, and I definitely read the most books by far that I would consider 2 to 3 Chili Peppers. And I feel like this one's very subjective because everyone has a different like ranking system, but I personally find that some things aren't as spicy as maybe other people would, and so that maybe that's why these books I read are mostly 2 to 3 Chili Peppers for me, but maybe someone else would think they are like full-blown 5 Chili Peppers. But this is just how I rank them, and I definitely see myself probably having similar stats in the future for this. I would like to read a bit more spicier books, but overall, I think this definitely reflects my reading, especially this year. I don't think I read as much I really slacked off on dark romance and I want to get back into it in 2025. So that's probably why the spicy scale is a little bit on the lower side. Subgenres. So I track 5 different subgenres. Well, one is just I call other. But I read the most contemporary. I read 70.2% contemporary books, 16.7% dark, and then 4.8% other and 4.8% rom-com. And then if you look at the little blue slice, that is actually fantasy, like romantasy, and I read 3.6% that. 3.6% fantasy, romance, romantasy, all that stuff. And lastly, we have tropes. So I tracked a bunch of tropes, and my biggest trope is actually friends to lovers, but I'm doing this kind of differently in 2025 because I was counting everything where if they met, became friends, and then became lovers as friends to lovers, and that's why the number is so high. So I definitely want to change that, but you can also see some big chunks include single parent, family/friends means brother's best friend or best friend's brother, step parents, step brothers, or just anything like that. Dad's best friend. And some other big chunks, we got workplace, small town, age gap, sports, and just a few others on there. And then there are some that you can't even see what they are because I read so little of them, but those are the tropes I tracked and read this year. And those are all my stats for 2024. I am going to go look at Goodreads though and just go through their little year in review thing. So give me a second. According to Goodreads, and keep in mind this is a little off because I think they're counting a book I didn't read this year and it's not counting a book I read this year. But, so take this with a grain of salt. I read 105 books, like I told you. I read 37,415 pages. My shortest book was Take Two by Ava Colt, and my longest book was Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. My average book in length was 356 pages, and that is my Goodreads stats. So that is how my reading went in 2024. Let me know in the comments what your most read genre was. And if you don't feel like commenting that, you can leave a what emoji should we do? The cowboy emoji. Don't know why, just the cowboy emoji. And before you go, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. I'll see y'all next time. Bye, everyone.